Listen. All right. Starting with fucking Furl. Everybody relax. Relax. Sorry. Today was supposed to be just semi-court, but it ran very, very long. The person I was with moved like a sloth. It should have taken 45 minutes. I even got there 15 minutes early. They got there early, and it took an hour and a half. And I said, there's just no fucking way I can realistically get to the office. So we're late. We need shared screen. We need office. I know, but here's the problem. If I was going to the office, it's 11:29 right now. We would not be starting probably until closer to 11:45. So I'd rather give us a full hour. I got Steak on. He's coming up in a minute. And Greg is going to be joining us as well. All right. How is this guy a realtor? Probably should. No, you dumb fuck. I am early and stay late if needed to everything. Okay. I'm sorry as much as I'd like to. I have to give that my undivided attention and maximum effort. So that I can afford to pay the bills, okay? Because I don't pay the bills with sports betting. I don't do that. Some people do that. I don't do that. Respect. Thank you, Furl. I figured you would. DJ, I'm drinking Guinness right now. No, you're not. That sounds delicious. Why can't I hear him? You can't hear me? Wait, what? Can we get a little DJ needs to change the name so bad. What are you talking about? I'm not muted. Is he muted? Why can't we hear? Shut the fuck up. Turn the volume up. Am I muted? Can we get the camera a little closer to your... Oh, you're joking. God damn it. All right, I'm bringing Steak up. I was saying respect the boy. Oh, what the fuck off then? No, you're not muted. I hear you. Okay. All right, Steak, what's up? Good to see you. You look sharp today.
Yo.
What is what kind of shirt is that? It's just like oh, you're frozen already.
Me?
Yeah, you're good. What kind of Wi-Fi? Are you on Wi-Fi or do you have a direct Ethernet plug-in?
I'm on Wi-Fi. I think I thought I had good Wi-Fi.
Do you have any applications open on your computer?
No.
Do
you have? Still lagging?
You're lagging a little bit. Is Steak lagging for anybody else? Steak, to be honest. Did you tattoo your head of that perfect hairline? You'll never know.
Somebody asks that every stream.
Yeah, I know. Light lag, Steak mannequin challenge. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Taco Bell Wi-Fi. Yep, Johnny G's in the building. What's up, Johnny Gintana? Steak streams more than DJ and GZ. Shut the fuck up. I know this was a very bad week. It was only Thursday and Friday. We got Greg in the house. Of course, he's not on camera yet, but he's there. I see his shadow. We'll bring him up. Anyways, we got no time to waste. We got to get to the board. We did send out the seem a little laggy at first. All right, Steak, I think you're okay. Oh, good. Greg's got the hipster beanie. All right, Greg.
Little thing.
Oh, yeah. Greg's got a pregnant wife due any day now.
This is ridiculous.
What's
every day.
That's adorable. Yeah.
Hey,
I was just going to say, can you bring it in a little bit closer? You're very far away.
There you go.
Steak, you're still kind of lagging, but we're just going to push through because we don't have time to figure it out.
I'm laggy?
No, you're fine. Steak, the one thing I would say is somebody told me before you do that. Are you on a laptop?
Yeah.
Okay, restart your computer before you start streaming. I think you're going to be fine, though. We're going to push through. All right, is that DJ's Christmas present? I don't know. Did I get you that?
No, you didn't. You got a bunch of other cute shit, though.
Yeah, well, really, my wife picked everything out. I was just in the store scrolling through my phone watching. I think that was like Texas A&M. No, not Texas A&M Ole Miss. It was a weekend before. It was, South Carolina team total under. On that note, let's talk college first. We went a little bit lighter this week. We cannot seem to get into a rhythm with our newsletter picks. Just when we had a nice 5-1 week, we followed up. We put 7 plays in, and then we go 3-4. Started the day 3-0, lost the next 4. You hate to see that. So I updated the units in the record in the newsletter. I think we're down like 4.1 units now. We're just a game under 500, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to keep grinding. We limited the plays to 5. Steak, there are still some that you like that's not on there. There's still that I like that's not on there. Greg, I know you're not a big college guy, but if you have anything to add, feel free as we go along. We're not going to touch on every game. We're not going to touch on every game because we don't have the time to. but I want to go over some nuggets and then, of course, see if the chat has anything that they would like to add to that. Why does Steak always look so pissed off? It's funny. He's an intimidating looking guy, but he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He's honestly nicer than Greg. Greg can be inconsiderate at times, even though it's not intentional.
Inconsiderate is a funny way to use it.
Greg will just show up 30 minutes late to something and be like, what was your thing the other day that you did that I gave you shit for?
Me?
Yeah, no, let's not. I'm not gonna.
Just go for a run without my phone.
Greg went for a run without checking his phone for 90 minutes when his wife is about to pop, and his wife gave him shit, and I had to err on the side of his wife. Steak, would you agree?
Oh
Sure.
yeah, it was definitely my fault. Like at 8 months pregnant, you can't. Well, I went for a run and then I grabbed a beer with a buddy, and like we were done with like second beer.
I'm sure that went over really well.
What?
I'm sure that went over really well.
No, it didn't. I had like 8 missed calls from her, and I thought I was like, she's in labor, like this is going down. But she just forgot her keys and had to pee really bad.
Which kind of sucks. That feeling is terrible when you have to pee really bad. I know it. I know it all the time. All right, let's get into it. What week are we?
The other thing with that too was I left the light on in this room so you can see it from the street. So she thought it was just in here. That's so funny, dude. Corn, that's real good.
$100 ace.
Yeah, we're about to get ripped off from Steak.
That's a nice green. That's a really soft eggshell green.
The nursery.
Yeah. Not your beanie.
Corn just asked for the newsletter. It's on the website. The link's in DGen's bio.
Corn, you're not subscribed, or did it not go into your inbox? No, it should have been out. I checked. Greg sent it.
Corn. I don't think Corn subscribed is a point.
Oh, Corn. Well, what the fuck, man? You got to subscribe. Here, I'm going to post the link in the chat. W Corn for helping DGen market. Yeah, Corn's a good business branding manager because he always reminds me to promote things. All right, let's get into it. Again, I'm going to leave that banner underneath. No office today, no shared screen. Sorry about that, but we got started at a decent time. We can still crank for a solid hour before the BTL boys come on. We always like to be considerate of their show as well. So let's get into college. Steak, what would you say? No, we don't format this into best bets, like your best bet, my best bet, Greg's best bet, like you do with the NFL. What would you say your favorite college play is this weekend? I have two. One's in the newsletter and one's not.
I think until we talk this out, I'd say UCF and Washington potentially.
Okay, so it's funny you say that. I had Washington ready to go, and I took it out at the last second because the line's going. The line is moving against them. Money is coming in on Utah. There's a couple of reasons. We've faded Kyle Whittingham before and been unsuccessful, and I'm finding that we're not having a lot of success with big favorites. So I chose to take them out of the newsletter. I haven't decided if I'm still going to play them, but I still lean with them, lean them. But UCF, I figured you were going to say that, and I want to make sure I wasn't going to steal yours. So let's start there. In my opinion, I mean, we put this kind of simply put in the newsletter. UCF is one of our plays because I just feel like the line is painfully short. And that does tend to how we look at, we read the lines and whatnot more so than we read the teams a lot of times. Usually we have pretty good success with college football. This season has not been one of our best years, but we're not really going to change course. We're going to still stick to what we do. And I think the reasoning, I guess we can think of our most recent example that was successful was when Western Michigan, I believe, was a favorite against Eastern Michigan, if you guys remember that. That line just was very telling for a team with such a worse record against a team that had a better record and was good at home. 2.5-point favorites for Oklahoma State on the road after just taking down Oklahoma is very short. Now, if anybody in the chat knows the Big 12, knows Oklahoma State or UCF better than we do, maybe there's a reason that this line is so short. The only reason it would make sense to me, in my opinion, if there was a significant injury, I didn't see any. Ollie Gordon, the running back for Oklahoma State, Bowman, the quarterback for Oklahoma State. These guys are still playing. It makes no sense to me. I feel like this is just the prime letdown spot. We weren't successful with Kansas last week in Kansas against Iowa State. We're going to get to that in a bit because we're fading Kansas again. I'm playing UCF. I want to get the field. I thought about buying it to 3 to get the field goal, but honestly, fuck it. With these types of teams matching up, it's probably going to be fairly high scoring. I think UCF is probably just going to win the game outright. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. It would be different, in my opinion, if Oklahoma State wasn't playing really good football, but they are. It would be different, if they had a couple bad games, but then they got up for Oklahoma and they beat them. Maybe I'd feel a little differently about this game, but they're playing really well. They're on pace to go to the Big 12 championship game, and I really think this is the letdown spot of the week, to be honest.
Yep. Last Bedlam game schedule. Sorry, I'm starving. I have to eat something. So it's probably a letdown after that for OSU. Yeah, steak's frozen.
Damn.
Yeah,
maybe I should go out and come back in then.
Yeah, if you want to. Restart your computer if you want to.
You guys keep talking.
I'm going to get bumped up to the top row.
Look at you, bigger Greg. A lot of green. Your
Moving
beanie
up,
matches
that is a
the
lot of green.
nursery. Is that like a new thing you're going with?
Is it one?
Your beanie matching the nursery?
No, it's not a new thing.
Okay. That's just by chance. How long was your run today, by the way?
5.
It's weak shit right there. Are you hungover?
No.
You were a little banged up at dinner.
I was a little banged up.
You were drunk. You were drunk. I like that. Well, Greg did this thing where he, in solidarity, tried not to drink since his wife's pregnant and can't drink for what, like 2 weeks?
Not 2 weeks. No, it had been since like last Friday.
Oh, okay. So like a solid 5 days.
Yeah.
I saw after that first martini, I could tell Greg was feeling it. It was what wine did Greg order? Did you end up ordering?
And he got a Syrah.
You got a Syrah? Was that your call though?
No, it was Mark's. It was a very good wine.
Greg did a really good job of holding the menu and then just kind of stating what was on the menu, but did not.
No, I try and paint a picture for the table of like where we want to be, where we want to do. And everybody just said no to like the first 3 things I pitched. So I was like, I don't know what to do here.
Yeah. Greg pays 50 on the 8th. I think that's a drug joke, but I don't really get it. 5 mile run. Yeah, that's nothing for Greg. All right, let's keep talking college football. I'm going to go to what I feel. Actually, I'd really like for Steak to jump back in because I don't know that he really agrees with me on Kentucky. And we don't have it as an official play, but I really want to hear him talk about Michigan and Penn State as much as I want to hear you talk about Penn State too.
Yeah.
I'm fading Kansas.
Burner, just DM me. That guy's asking for half marathon stuff.
Who?
Dave Martinez Burner.
Oh, Dave Martinez. Oh, okay.
Don't fucking pay me. I just send you something simple to do.
Yeah, you don't have to pay us. The only thing we charged for was the lean sheet because that got annoying. By the way, I realized people can't DM us anymore because we're verified, and so, but the majority of people who
is that true?
I think it's true, and I don't know if there's a way to change it. If I could, I would. But I saw this on a Reddit thread. I don't think people can DM us anymore, and that kind of defeats the purpose of the lean sheet because I only did that so people would stop fucking annoying me. But now nobody's annoying me, so I feel like there's no reason. All right, Steak is back in here. Shout out Suzanne Brady because I couldn't DM Greg. Oh, yeah, Suzanne Brady, W Burner, by the way, one of my favorite burners out there. Yeah. So, Hill Daddy, I think the only reason you can if you're not verified is if we've already established a line of communication. Very strange, but to be honest with you, we might just do away with the lean sheet because that was the only reason that we
ride it through college football, I think.
Yeah. A couple more weeks will be fine. I still like doing it to organize.
Yeah, I like to see what you guys are on in general.
Yeah. Okay. Steak, I didn't want to talk about this game without you. I was just about to sidetrack and get to Kansas State, but I want to talk about Alabama, Kentucky. And then we'll get into Michigan, Penn State. I'm very curious to hear what our Michigan guys have to say about that game. I don't know. We didn't really hash this one out too much. I tweeted about it. I thought Alabama 10.5 on the road seemed pretty short against Kentucky. I went ahead with it at official newsletter play. I'm in. I'm not necessarily saying that there's going to be an upset, but I have a weird feeling Kentucky might keep this one close. I'm also getting that feeling about TCU, which we'll talk later. These two, Texas and Alabama, double-digit road favorites, I feel like one of them is going to be in for a dogfight. Right out of the gate, noon. It would be awesome if this game was at night, but I'm going to go with it. And I'm not even that high on Kentucky, but I feel like maybe there might be something there with Alabama not having played many road games. And so I looked at that. They've only played 3 road games so far this year. They just had a 3-game stretch of being at home. But UCF on the road they struggled with. Granted, that was also after the Texas loss, and they switched quarterbacks a little bit, so you can't really put too much stock into that. Right, I see what you're saying. I mean, 17-3 is still pretty crazy. Texas A&M, they kind of controlled that game, but they still only won 26-20. Texas A&M really isn't that good. And then the other one, I forget who it was, but that was Mississippi State. That was pretty convincing. Mississippi State, what I know now, is dog shit. So maybe there's something there with Alabama and Jalen Milroe, who has looked phenomenal in my opinion, not being as comfortable on the road. I feel like it's not a large enough number to where I think anybody feels comfortable fading Bama. So I don't feel like they're a public dog and a trendy dog. So I'm going to go with it. Kentucky plus 10.5 or 11, depending on where you find it. Do you co-sign this?
Yes, but wasn't the Alabama LSU game on the road? Wasn't that?
No, that was in
LSU?
Alabama.
That was in Bama.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I'm remembering. Okay, got it. So just to be clear, the USF game, I've kind of deleted it from my memory because this is a completely different Alabama team to me. I mean, they've really turned it on. I literally feel like it's a completely different football team. Milroe looks great, and they haven't had a letdown game yet where they sleepwalk. I shouldn't say yet. I mean, recently. They haven't had a recent one where they completely sleepwalk. And just to compare it to Texas, I feel like Kansas State's good, but Texas might have had their sleepwalk, let a team keep it too close, come back last week. And I don't know if I want to bet on that again with TCU. I don't like that one as much. I think I like Kentucky a lot more.
Okay. Greg, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think you guys kind of sold me. I think Bama, I don't want to call it a letdown spot either, but that was a big win over LSU. And I do kind of I get what you guys are putting down with on the road. I can't imagine anybody liking Kentucky in the spot, so I'm going to tail you guys on it.
Okay. And I agree here. Very worried about Kentucky's offense. You're really putting your stock into Kentucky's defense. They did just hold Mississippi State to 3 points on the road, which is impressive. But let me just tell you again, as somebody who watched and bet on Mississippi State against Arkansas where they won, they are terrible. And I have continued to include Mississippi State betting on or fading since I watched them in that game, and have been successful since. They are very, very bad. We'll talk about fading them a little bit later. Go ahead.
The only thing I'll add about Kentucky's offense, obviously they haven't been playing amazing, but they're not incompetent. They've been playing bad, but they're very capable. Devin Leary's decent. They got a decent running game. And I don't think it's crazy to think that a good game could be coming for them.
Fair enough. Okay. Greg, let's start with you. We're going to go down like the Brady Bunch. Michigan, Penn State. Tell me, as a Penn State fan, kind of, not really a fan of anything, but a dad. Is your dad an alum?
Yeah.
Okay. So
73.
Your dad's getting involved. Is your dad feeling confident? He knows the line's moving in their direction because he's a degenerate follower now. Where are we at from the Penn State side in this game? Are you feeling confident? Are you scared?
Very, very scared. Okay. I mean, look how bad they looked against Ohio State. Like, really hoping they can figure it out. My dad's funny because, like, I told you guys it's my mom's 70th birthday party this weekend. They're doing like a big surprise birthday. And I was like, Dad, are you more nervous about like planning everything for mom's party or for the Penn State game? And he immediately just like, can you believe the line moved a half point in their favor? I didn't think that was going to happen. He like immediately like just started talking like, you don't care at all about everybody traveling in on mom's birthday. Like you care about the Penn State game tomorrow. But he's been very like passionate about it too. Of like, I just want to beat Penn State or Ohio State or Michigan. Like that's all I want this season. I don't care if we won one game, if one of those games is Ohio State or Michigan. And I think Franklin really needs to pull one of these out, but I just don't see it happening again. I mean, it's one of those trends that it's like Tomlin is a dog or Vrabel is a dog. It's like fucking Franklin against a good Ohio State or Michigan team. He's just hasn't shown any ability to get it done.
Yeah, and people are saying this is the best Penn State team he's ever had. Steak, I kind of disagree with you on this game. Let's talk about it.
Cool. So this is against one of my better against my better judgment play because obviously, you know, in the beginning of the season, I faded Penn State's win total because I thought they were going to lose to Ohio State and Michigan and then one crappy team. I thought they'd have one letdown game, which would put them right under their win total. And they haven't had the letdown against the crappy team yet. They haven't really even come close, to be fair, to give them props. They looked awful against Ohio State, and I absolutely thought that they would be like 7.5 point underdogs to Michigan. And if it was more, I wouldn't even have been that shocked. So the line just has me shocked right now. So strictly as a line read, I feel like as the type of gambler I am, I have to be on Penn State. But will I be shocked if they get throttled? I don't think I will be shocked.
I mean, this is the exact same line as it was against Ohio State, which is just kind of crazy to me.
It is because everyone thinks Michigan is better than Ohio State this year.
I think they probably are. I think I get what you're saying, and I think that makes sense. But Penn State is at home. There is only so much, in my opinion, you can get a team that overall in the landscape of college football is still highly ranked. I think there's only so many points you can give them at home. And I think what maybe I would be nervous about as an odds maker is, you know, this is Michigan's first test. So you've seen something that Penn State has done to maybe bump them down your rankings a bit, but you know Michigan's good, but you don't know how good. So I just don't really know if they had done something to show us one way or another against which they've killed every opponent, but against the team, their best opponent's been Rutgers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they've done something against anybody that's even remotely around like the top 25, I think I would agree with you a little bit more like, oh, yeah, this line's short because Michigan has at least proven it. This is their first test. So I'm not all in on thinking the line is short. I think Penn State is still a team that like gets respect from odds makers. And again, being at home, it's not a night game. Michigan, I think, dodges a little bit of a bullet there. It's no whiteout, no night game, as Kev pointed out. Because you know what Michigan needed for their schedule was another little, advantage. Just a little, it's been so hard. So I think Michigan's going to win this game. I don't think they're going to steamroll Penn State. I don't think Penn State's very good. But I do think they have a defense that's worth respecting. As somebody who was on Ohio State in that game, I had the first half and the under, I believe. I do think we got a little lucky as Ohio State backers on that call where it was a sack on Kyle McCord and a fumble return to the house.
Yeah.
I think that would have changed the game. However, at the same time, that was still a fair call. I think they called a holding on a receiver or something like that. But that penalty could have potentially changed the game. But still, you take that out of the equation. Penn State's offense was atrocious. So I don't know if I even want to play the total. Because what if Penn State is actually able to score against Michigan's defense? What if Michigan?
I don't see it happening. I like the under.
The under is an obvious play. Steak, would you agree the under is an obvious play?
Probably, yeah. The under and Penn State, like I don't see how anyone likes Penn State in the over. I think that's the two that don't match.
Yeah.
Special K says it's not obvious. That's interesting. I felt like it was like Michigan has a really good offense, right? But Penn State's strength is their defense. So if you think Penn State's going to be competitive, right, you should like the under because Michigan's not going to score 45 points. So I'm conflicted. I'm off entirely because sometimes with these obvious unders, I always get burned. Like I thought Clemson Notre Dame would have been an obvious under for the second year in a row, and it soars. This total has gone over 7 of the last 10 times in the last 10 matchups.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't make me feel any type of way about this year. Just after watching Penn State and Ohio State, I feel like it's hard to see it going over. But maybe
it's really tough to take any Big Ten over.
So, are you officially on Penn State?
Yeah, I'm going to put a unit on Penn State. Does anybody know the look-ahead line for Ohio State and Michigan? I would be curious about.
I can check. Let me look on FanDuel.
I think Michigan is -6 at Michigan.
See what I'm saying?
Not
really.
really.
That's weird. You don't think that's weird? I don't think it's weird. They're -6 again. I know home and away. I get that, but -6 against Ohio State and -4.5 against Penn State is weird to me. Home or not, home or away. I just feel like the line's short.
Do you think the line?
A bigger gap in there.
Do you think the line against Ohio State is right?
I think it's big. No. Actually, I'm not going to start saying that yet. I actually don't know if I feel that way because I think even with Michigan's schedule, eye test wise, they look so much better than Ohio State.
Yeah,
beating the shit out of people.
Okay,
-230 on the money line for Michigan, Ohio State.
I'm going to say one more thing and then we'll start moving. So just so I'm understanding correctly, you think, just going by the lines, you like Penn State's chances of upsetting Michigan more than you like Ohio State's chances of beating Michigan.
At this exact moment, yes.
Okay.
Just reading the lines. I'm just reading the lines.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Go ahead.
That would be a pretty interesting three-way tie if like Ohio State beat Penn State beat Michigan, Michigan beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't even know what you do next somehow. Maybe get LSU in since I have their future. All right, let's keep moving. What do you make this line if it were at Michigan?
The Penn State one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I guess 9, 8.5.
Yeah, so I mean that kind of makes sense to me. You get 2.5 points for Michigan. You give 2.5 for Penn State.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm still not. I'm not wavering on the fact that 4.5 with Michigan playing Penn State anywhere with Penn State's history and big games. I just feels short to me.
Okay. So, since I'm living in the future a little bit here, what do you guys think? Pac-12 championship, Oregon, Washington. What do you think that line is?
Oh, I think I already know what it is, and it's crazy.
I do too. Someone DM'd it to me.
Oh, yeah.
6?
6.5 Oregon.
That's wild.
Yeah. That's insane.
Crazy. That sucks.
I wanted to take Oregon to win it all at 14-1, and Steak said don't do that.
I
didn't say don't do that. I said take them to make the playoffs, which I actually think is good advice.
It was great advice, but you said don't take them to make.
They're not winning the national championship.
Who is?
Yeah.
Not Oregon.
Really?
Not Oregon, dude. No.
I can't believe you don't have faith in the Ducks.
I have faith in the Ducks to get there.
So, okay. Greg, you agree? You're not an Oregon guy?
No.
Okay. Fine. Let's move on. Tempo and pace. We don't have to spend too much time on this. Kansas -3.5 against Texas Tech. This line to me seems painfully short. Kansas defied the odds and survived the letdown spot in the fishiest, contrarian line last week. +2.5, I think, against Iowa State, which was insane. That's kind of a spot that has to be played, especially with the unranked favorite against a favorite. And I know this is kind of nauseating and annoying when you see every fucking Twitter capper making those same plays. But, we've been doing this for a while. And to be honest with you, they hit more often than they don't. So fake sharp or not, there's no overthinking it sometimes. Didn't come through. At the end of the day, I don't regret the play. I hate putting money on Matt Campbell. I'm not a Matt Campbell guy. And this Leopold dude for Kansas is a good coach. Bean is a solid quarterback for Kansas. Now, fading them, again, is not something that I really am excited about doing. But I think that, again, this is a spot that sort of needs to be played. Texas Tech +3.5. Steak, are you co-signing this as well? I believe you are.
Yeah, I really can't fully co-sign it because I really can't fully co-sign fading Kansas anymore.
Okay.
That's just the truth. I've done it. It's went horrible. And I really don't know if I could do it again. They might just be one of those teams you don't fade, and it might be one of those teams that's just simply not getting enough respect from the odds makers. But if you came up to me and you said, like, hey, man, it's a life or death situation. I got $100 and I have to bet this game. What would you take? I'd obviously take Texas Tech, but I don't know it's going to be an official play for me because Kansas is hard team to fade.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that they keep coming out with short numbers after exceeding expectations. Like, that's what's crazy to me. Like, eventually it's got to go past the pendulum, but I don't know. I'm going to tail it. I like it, the rationale behind it.
Okay. I didn't run this by you guys. It was kind of a late lean and a late ad for me, but I put Purdue in there. Purdue is a bad team. Yeah, I know it is ballsy. 2-7 team. It's not our first time that we've been on a 2-7 and a bad team and on paper where they look like the worst team in this matchup. Again, I referenced the Western Michigan example. So sometimes you got to hold your nose and make these plays. I hope we're not getting greedy, but I have been on the Minnesota Stinks train for quite some time, and I'm not the only one by any means. I know a lot of people are as well. I'm not a PJ Fleck guy. I don't think Kalimanakis or whatever the quarterback's name is very good. We did get pretty lucky with the way Illinois – well, we got unlucky with the way they blew that game with that fumble, but then we got very lucky with how they ended up winning. Purdue went from a dog to a favorite. I think it's quite interesting, and I think Minnesota is probably deflated after losing that game to Illinois in the fashion they did. They are still 5-4 on the year. They have a winning record. That conference is not very good. I think that they can still be competitive. I think they're in the side with like Iowa, if I'm not mistaken, and they still probably want to be bowl eligible. So Purdue in there. Any thoughts or qualms or concerns about that?
Co-sign. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Ballsy, man. It's ballsy.
Ballsy.
It's going to be there yet, but I might get there.
It's going to be really good or it's going to be really bad, and the latter is typically what I prepare myself for. All right, we'll fly through it because I want to talk about NFL. It's 11:55, and then I know some guys want to talk to NBA as well. I just got a text from Mac. Plug ugly 6 p.m. on the nose. Okay, I got an invite. I'm going to see Tim Dillon tonight, but I got an invite from a buddy Max, and he was like, "Hey man, me and some guys are going to watch NBA and just drink and bet on the games. Do you have any interest?" I'm like, what kind of stupid fucking question is that? So I'm going to go meet him for like an hour or two before my wife and I go to Dillon. All right, I'm scrolling down, going through these games. You have no interest in going to TCU. That is fine with me. The other game we're on in the newsletter is San Jose State. Another dog to a favorite. I'm not trying to blindly play the spot. I'd even play them if they stay the dog. I think the line's short, 4-5 against 8-1 Fresno. That was a line that jumped out to me and kind of just is slapping me in the face saying we need to be played. Other than that, it's not really that great of a college football slate, which I think is okay because last weekend was phenomenal. Do you have anything else that you wanted to point out? I know we touched on Washington and Utah a little bit. I have my concerns about fading Kyle Whittingham again. Oh, one more ranked matchup. I think this could be a really good game at 3:30. Tennessee -1.5
I'm
against.
glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I am too. And this one didn't make the newsletter, and I think you guys are right. You always check me and you remind me. I think I like Tennessee, and Steak or Greg, you responded with, "I don't know if I trust your read on Missouri." And I was like, you know what? You're right. I might be a guy who is trying to convince myself Missouri's not very good, and I don't want to be stubborn and an idiot and lose money on them. Continue to lose money on them. I just played their team total under against Georgia. It was 20.5. They got to 19. They went for 2 and got it. I'm fucking sick to my stomach about losing that bet. But I kind of like Tennessee. I feel like Tennessee's been playing pretty well since I think they had their bye week. Granted, they haven't really played any juggernauts of an opponent. No, there was no bye week. So they beat Kentucky on the road. That was a pretty big win for them. Then they came back home, played Connecticut, 35-point favorites. They made the newsletter last week. Now they're on the road against Missouri, -1.5. Steak, are you going to play this game or are you going to sit it out?
I'm going to sit it out, but honestly, I lean Missouri, and I saw a comment in the that is important. Tennessee plays Georgia next week.
Ooh, and Burden is hurt. That is huge for Missouri. That's actually not bad news. I would buy. However, it makes the line make a lot more sense. So I do think it's worth noting. Greg, did you have anything on this game?
No. I do kind of. I'm probably in the same boat as you. I do kind of like. To me, seeing Tennessee as a favorite on the road in this is a little suspicious and makes me lean Tennessee, but it's probably a no touch.
Bert, I can't play Iowa State. I just don't like putting my money on Matt Campbell. Temple +7 is interesting. They're a dog shit team.
That's a high total in that Temple game.
Steak, are you playing Temple?
No, but the Iowa State is gross. If you have the balls to go back to it, it's real gross. I can't do it, but I respect you for it.
Okay, so you're not going to do it. Fair enough. I think the only other thing that stood out to me was the total in the Oklahoma-West Virginia game. Do you guys find it interesting that total is 58 down to 57.5, given West Virginia's offense has been fucking rolling? Let me tell you what West Virginia has done the last 3 games. They scored, actually the last 4. Houston, they scored 39 points. Oklahoma State, 34. UCF, 41. BYU, 37. And that was pretty much in the first half. They were up like 37-0, took the starters out. 58 down to 57.5, and Oklahoma's a big number. That tells me that Oklahoma's defense probably steps up. I kind of like that under or Oklahoma. That's the only other one I'm considering.
I think that might have been, you might have saved your best read of the day for last. And I kind of makes me want to take West Virginia team total under.
Yeah.
Or the under. I really like that look a lot, actually.
Okay.
I like Oklahoma in this one. I think they finally get right a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of all the hopes and dreams of doing something really special are gone. And it's like, let's just get back to fucking playing good football.
Last one, it's 12:01. We'll transition over to the NFL. I do think UCLA was one of my favorite bets last weekend. It was my only 2-unit play. That was awful. I think I watched like 10 minutes of the game. They missed a field goal, and I text you guys, and I said I'm turning it off. They run like a 2 or 3 quarterback thing. It's kind of strange. Arizona is just one of those teams where if you fade them, you feel like a fucking idiot. That is exactly what I feel like for a team that just continues to be a covering machine. I respect their coach. I like their team. I didn't think as, back-to-back spots like that at home that they would come through both times. Shame on me. But UCLA now and going home 17.5 against Arizona State, it's kind of looking at me funny. Feel like they're going to probably get a pissed off fuck you game from them. Don't think I'm doing it, though. That's the last game I wanted to bring up. John Mayer says Arizona is covering this week. Honestly, man, they might cover throughout the rest of the season. I'm not gonna pay to find out. Anything else in college? Anything else in college before we go to the NFL?
Virginia Tech. I think they're gross. That's okay. It's okay. We don't even have to talk about it. I'm just tossing it in there because I'm probably going to play it.
Shout out to the nugget we got in the DMs about the injury concerns. We're not going to name any names for the Virginia Tech play last weekend against Louisville. That was zero fun. Zero fun. All right, let's go to the NFL. We got a game in London. Patriots and Colts, 9:30. Oh, sorry. That's like the 5th time you've done that this week.
Yeah, I know. All of Europe's basically London. Like once you
all
get
of
over
Europe's basically London, even though I think the England is no longer even part of the EU. Is that correct?
What? Oh, the UK is longer part of the EU. Yeah.
Yes. Did that go through?
Yeah.
Brexit.
I don't know where Brexit stands, but yes.
Okay, got it. You looked at me like I was an idiot, so I thought you knew.
You said London left the EU, which didn't.
England.
Yeah. Yeah,
Got
fair
it.
enough.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Are you playing this Patriots Colts game? I'm not. Sounds like you aren't either.
I kind of want to play the Patriots, but I also there's no reason to take this one. This is like do something in the morning before you sit down and watch football. Don't watch this.
Steak, you got a look on your face like you're about to do something nasty.
I love fading the Patriots.
Yeah.
They're really fucking bad, and they still get lines they shouldn't get because of the name of the team and the history of the team, and they're really, really bad. And I actually think fading the Patriots every week without doing too much research about the line or how you feel about it is a safe bet because they're horrible.
Yeah. You guys have heard the Belichick might get fired rumors, right?
Is that because of his walk of shame video that's coming out?
I haven't seen the walk of shame, but there's supposedly somebody leaked it, but somebody pretty close in the Pats organization said if they lose this, they're just going to cut ties with Belichick, which I think it's like you don't fire him in season.
I call bullshit.
Didn't he just sign an extension?
Doesn't matter, dude. He'll get handled with kid gloves. He'll resign at the end of the season. He ain't getting fired in the middle of the year, flying home from Germany. There's no shot.
What if they brought in Tom Brady to coach?
You can't. You can't. After what Greg sent us about the fucking DK Metcalf getting punched or Gino getting punched in the face, you can't trust Greg and his rumors in these fucking.
Sometimes I see something and I bite the bait before I even read the comments.
You know why that's funny?
The Belichick thing supposedly is legit.
Didn't someone punch Geno Smith in the face when he was on the Jets?
Yes.
Didn't that happen? Yeah. That's hilarious.
That's why I fell for it.
Bro, Greg, first of all, the guy in the tweet put a space between the period. Official, NFL writers don't make that grammatical error. Those are fucking 20-year-old Fortnite fuckers who put spaces between punctuation. The fact that you almost believe that is honestly hilarious. Don't worry, I've done dumber things in life.
It was early.
Right. It was early. That's right. You got fired up, though. You wanted to believe it.
I did want to believe it. I got really fired up about the Seahawks this morning.
All right, let's talk about our best bets, and then we'll talk about the rest of the board and then go from there. I'm squaring up, man. And if everybody in here probably is familiar with my track record on square plays, and they're already rolling their eyes in disgust, and I am totally here for it. I'm going to give it a shot, though. I should probably just stop trying to make these bets, but give me the 49ers off of – what are you throwing your hand up like that?
I just keep going. I just don't think this is as square as you're leading that on to be.
Really? You think people are going to bet the Jags? I don't. Let me talk about it, and then we'll see. I guess what I'm saying is this: the Niners were a Super Bowl pick. They're a Super Bowl contender. They've lost 3 straight games. I still think people would not write them off as a team that could win the Super Bowl. And if you ask anybody that says, "Hey, the 49ers just lost 3 straight games and had their bye week, and now Deebo Samuel is coming back and they traded for Chase Young. Do you think they're going to win their next game?" You're probably going to get a lot of people that say yes. Now, granted, it's cross country, it's on the road, and it's in Jacksonville. The Jags have won 5 in a row. They got right in London, as we mentioned in the newsletter. I would say, Greg, you made a great point, and we talked about this with the Texans-Panthers matchup when we picked the Panthers. Bye weeks can negatively impact teams that are in a groove and in a rhythm. Kind of throws you off a little bit. Whereas the opposite happens when it's a team that desperately needs a bye week. So I'm kind of leaning into that. The Niners really needed this bye week. The Jags really didn't want that bye week, in my opinion. So I think Duval is going to be rowdy. Steak, you've been there many a times. Are you going to this game?
No.
Okay. Well, you go to a lot of Jags games. Why wouldn't you go?
Yeah, I decided I'm done going to 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. games. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I don't want to be at a stadium when there's 10 other NFL games on. So I'm sticking to Sunday night and Monday night games on so I can just focus on the one game that's on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. We learned that in Vegas, too, when we were at the sports. We went to the Raiders game. It was still cool to see the stadium, but being at the sportsbook.
We did that in Buffalo, too. You kept yelling at me. I was at the Bills game, Bills-Ravens. I kept checking my phone. You're like, fucking enjoy the game. Like, dude, I got 6 other games going on. I know this one's great, but.
It was a tough game to enjoy, too. That was 13-9. No Trent Williams is a big deal. Absolutely. So I guess there's an element of bad news. Hold on 1 second. Let me see what this guy said. 41% of that's handle on Jags spread today. Do you think that's right? And any thoughts? I like the Niners, but that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, look, I've started to take a step back more and more off of the splits. It's just too unknown. I still like to consider them and factor them, but I don't really rely on them much. They don't dictate my bets. I like to be on the right side of them. So if you have the lower tickets, higher dollars, that's probably the side you want to be on. But honestly, there's so many books. There's so much information out there. You don't know what's accurate. So I'm taking a step back from them. That's not really factoring into my capping here at all. It's more so about the spot for the Jags. I have them to be the highest scoring team this weekend as well. I think CMC, as chalk as it is, probably scores 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think he goes berserk. I think Purdy plays a pretty good game. Greg, do you agree with this bet?
I do, and I would almost go the other way, which is I feel like a bit that's tough just because there's so many bad quarterbacks out. But I would almost like the Jags to be the lowest scoring team. I think the Jags offense has been a little fluffed up, and I think they're about to hit a really good defense. That and the 49ers defense hasn't looked that good as a whole, but I think they can come together here. And I think there's a little bit of fraud in Jacksonville's offense.
I don't disagree necessarily, but it's hard to have much faith in the Niners defense. They haven't been good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I think the bye week is going to be pretty helpful.
Okay. They made some changes. So I was listening today on VSiN. Kyle Shanahan's been in the defensive meetings more. Wilkes, the new defensive coordinator, the guy who used to be with the Panthers, because Nico Ryan's left. He is going from the booth to the field.
The Matt Canada move.
Yep. Matt Canada move. You're right. Yeah, you're right, man. There could be something there. Steak, are you cool with this bet?
Cool with this bet. So mid-major Matt obviously always has good nuggets, but I think highlighting his comments worth it because that's crazy, and it actually crossed my mind. The one Jags playing one game in 24 days.
Yeah, I think I shared that with you guys. The Jags played 5 games in 28 days, and then they played 1 game in 24 days. Like there's overlap there, obviously, but just really, really bizarre scheduling.
Do you think that it's strange that rust hasn't even been mentioned as a narrative here whatsoever? Like that's not much. That's pretty crazy in the middle of a season to have that much time off. And I actually think it's interesting that it's not a narrative. I am okay with the bet. I don't think the Jags are going to play good. I think the Jags are going to be rusty, and I think they're going to have a rough day. I am cool with the bet. But just to talk about narratives, the San Francisco hasn't looked good, but I believe the narrative is still that they are good and they're going to get it right. Whereas the Bills haven't looked good. And I think the narrative about the Bills is starting to be that they are bad. They're really bad defensively. Yeah. All the injuries are stacking up, and maybe Josh Allen's not that guy. But I have yet to hear someone who firmly believes that the Niners are bad. Obviously, this is a bad stretch. The reason why, like, your bet might be square. Square bets hit all the time.
Yep.
I still think it's potentially a square bet, but I do like it a lot.
Okay. All right, cool. Greg, let's go to your best bet. You are on the Seahawks, which have moved up from, I think they were 5.5, then 6 and 6.5. So we did get the worst.
I should probably take this before it gets to the 7.
You should, yes. So we're not known for our CLV, so that's fine. It's still a touchdown. I will just tell you quickly, I still, as someone who faded the Seahawks on the season, I'm hoping, I'm praying for their demise. Little weird here because I also think Ron Rivera's seat was eventually going to get hot and he was going to get fired. That obviously is not happening. Now they just won in New England. Shout out to Steak for putting a unit on them and calling that one. But I don't know about this Seahawks team. And if you still look at their travel schedule, man, they are back and forth a lot. But if there is ever a get right spot for Geno in this offense after what they just did in Baltimore, it is against the Commanders defense that is piss poor. So go ahead.
Yeah, and you saw the narrative come up a little bit when they played the Patriots, and Ramondre Stevenson had that one big touchdown run, but selling off their defensive line, which was really the only thing that was keeping them in games. I think last week really, if anything, exemplified how fucking bad the Patriots offense is, that they couldn't move the ball against this defense. I mean, when you look at what other teams have done, I think this is, I was looking at his stats a little bit this morning, but DK Metcalf has yet to have that big boy game. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for him. I think this line is a bit big. The Seahawks have not looked that great, but they've played some really good defenses. The Browns game was a dogfight, and they were able to pull that out. And then they played the Ravens, who have another one of the best defenses. So they didn't look that great. But I do think DK goes absolutely berserk here. Yeah, in the comments. I think they just have a big game on offense, and I think their defense is coming together. Like you said, they're going back and forth, but they play fucking well at home. And you're telling me you put Sam Howell in that area and their defense is getting better? Like, I think this is a bloodbath.
Steak, you're shaking your head. You agree?
Yeah, I do. I like the Seahawks.
Okay. Well, I hope
it wasn't a week earlier on Lockett Day. Lockett Day hit. He hit.
Lockett scored. Yeah, he scored early. I remember people in the Discord and people in the in my DMs and whatnot were like, "Oh, W. Greg, shout out Lockett."
Yeah, the week I was on Lockett, he had like 4 catches and 60 yards and a touchdown in the first quarter. I don't remember what else he did, but it was quick.
If DK is out, I'll be firing up JSN a lot. Oh, hilarious, because I dropped JSN in fantasy. You're not going to pick him up right now, are you?
I might have already picked him up.
What the fuck, man? I
You
dropped
dropped
him to get a quarterback.
That
Oh, I didn't get him. God damn it.
Somebody got him?
Yeah.
Why
God
didn't
damn
you
it.
tell me dropping JSN was a bad idea?
What the fuck? What am I, your babysitter? Grow up.
You're my fantasy consultant. Okay, let's move. So far, I'm on the Niners. Greg is on the Seahawks for his best bet in stake in disgusting fashion after being on the Raiders last week, which again, I had hoped he was wrong because I'm fading the Raiders. Oh, that feels kind of corp, but I'm gonna deny it for now. I'm gonna deny it for now, and then you're gonna start going, and then I'm gonna mute and call this person back. You're gonna fade the Raiders now.
Yes, I'm going to fade the Raiders now. And to be fair, before I even looked to see who the Raiders were playing or the line, when you were texting about the Raiders, I said, like, listen, man, it's not that I'm buying into Antonio Pierce and the Raiders all year. I'm buying into Antonio Pierce and the Raiders for one game because I'll be honest with you. I kind of think the shtick with Antonio Pierce is a one-game thing. I don't think it really provides long-term success. All those like sound bites and shit doesn't work for NFL coaches. With that being said, we got the New York Jets. They're coming off horrible loss to San Diego on a short week. Raiders are coming off a dominant win. Everyone in Las Vegas seems real happy with McDaniels being gone. I'd say the vibes are as high in Las Vegas as they have been all year. And
for sure.
New York, the narrative's back, man. Zach Wilson sucks. The Jets suck. It's like, I feel like every other week it changes. It's like, wow, this is a competitive team with a great defense and they run the ball and Zach Wilson's starting to make throws. And then after last week, it's back to he's incompetent. And I really don't know how to feel about Zach Wilson. And this bet isn't a Zach Wilson bet as much as I think the New York Jets are going to absolutely smack around Aiden O'Connell. And I love the Jets.
Yeah, that to me, I totally agree. I think it's a Jets defense play. Like I don't see anybody on the Jets offense doing anything special. Maybe Breece Hall, but I see the defense just completely shutting down the Raiders.
Yeah, for sure. And go ahead. Oh, you're still muted. You're talking on the phone. I'll be honest with you. Even though I said I don't love the Jets offense, I actually do think Breece Hall has a massive day. But I'm not expecting a whole lot from Zach Wilson. I'm sure you'll get the usual 180 yards and a touchdown and maybe even 2 picks or a fumble. But I definitely think you can put Breece Hall on the masterclass candidate list.
Ooh,
I was
like
going to, but I didn't want to swagger jack because that has been something that Mid-Major Matt has been on for a couple of days. So I always try to give respect on any sort of leans or reads where if somebody else has already claimed a play or a player, I don't want to just copy and paste because as we had talked about earlier this morning, feels like there is just so much plagiarism and copy pasting in the fucking sports gambling Twitter world. So we're going to try to do a good job of avoiding that.
Yeah.
And always keep us honest.
Let me talk on that actually, since you said it. You're right, because I should have mentioned that. Me and Matt have been talking about this game since Tuesday, maybe even Monday. So yeah, I like it when we align. We have a lot of success when we align, but we definitely align on this one and we've been discussing it for quite some time. So want to make sure I mention that.
Awesome. Greg, you're okay with fading the Raiders as well, right?
Oh, for sure.
Did you already talk about it while I was on mute?
Huh?
Did you already give your perspective on this game while I was on mute?
Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah, This was when we were talking about it. Like I said, if this isn't Steak's best bet, I'll take it because I really
that's right.
The nugget, dude. This is the nugget. This is kind of exactly what I said. That's a great nugget.
Wow, great nugget. SB. Look at that, giving credit. I love that. We can start a new normal in sports gambling Twitter. Sharing nuggets is a W. Thank you, Beeman. And this is where he got it from. Love that. Shout out to, I don't think it was one of you two. I think it was somebody in the chat who said, or maybe it was one of you two. Antonio Pierce gives me Jeff Saturday vibes.
I think you might have said that.
I only said it because I heard it from someone.
Oh, I don't know who you heard it from. It wasn't me then. I was like, was that just a weird way of complimenting yourself?
No, dingbat, because he's going to win his first
I know what
game.
you mean, but you told us that.
I said somebody said this, and it sounded really good. Jeff Saturday or Antonio Pierce could be like Jeff Saturday. Zake, that wasn't you? Nope.
Steak's
Steak
frozen.
might-
No, it
steak
definitely
might be
wasn't
frozen.
us, dude.
Steak, can you hear us? Can't hear you. Maybe come out and come back in.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay. Somebody said talk about the Titans. Let's talk about the Bucks Titans real quick. Greg, this game did not make our newsletter. You wanted to make the Titans your best bet eventually. I would have been fine with the under. We elected to pass. I think we're a little bit conflicted on this. I am not 100% sold on the Titans going to Tampa and winning this game. At the same time, I don't want to put my money on the Bucks and the Bucks offense. Thanks for being back. All right, we're talking Titans Bucks. Steve.
Yeah, I like that SVP likes them. So when we do the newsletter, I went to write it, and I was writing out the Titans, and I kind of just do like a brain dump at first, and then I'll go back and like curate it and try and like find my angle, find my pitch, find what I really like about it. And the Titans just wasn't coming to me, and I was just like, this game at the end of the day, it's a coin flip. It's absolutely a coin flip. Like if the Bucks win, I'm not going to be surprised. If the Titans win, I'm not going to be surprised. I want to see how people respond to Vrabel over the weekend and see what the outlook is, Saturday, maybe even Sunday morning. Because I do feel like Vrabel, when everybody's like Vrabel's a short dog, Vrabel's a short dog. You got to like Vrabel's a dog here on the road or at home. Like that's when I feel like it's too obvious and it misses. But when nobody's talking about Vrabel and no one's even looking at it, that's when he fucking comes and the game's over and you're like, God damn it, Vrabel is a dog. There he is again, right? So I think that this is kind of that spot for the Titans, but I'm not ready to commit to it yet.
Did a lot of people have the Titans win total over? I didn't think a lot of people did.
I didn't either.
I think a lot of people sort of like them to win the division.
Really?
Is like an outside shot.
I did not hear a lot of Titans love. I thought they were a nasty pick, if anything. I did, sadly. Well, I'm glad we stayed off this game. I think that I think the Bucks defense is fading and dwindling, as we just saw with CJ Stroud. But
yeah,
they are a different team at home. They've played pretty well at home, and it's a little bit because of the Bucks, but it's a lot more because Tampa, as I've said, is just a weird place to play. And on top of that, now you have a rookie quarterback like Will Levis going in there. Granted, he did okay on the road in Pittsburgh on a short week at night. I'm sure he'll be fine, but it's a weird place to play. I thought, if anything, this would be a Derrick Henry game. If the Bucks' run defense is much better than its pass defense, but I do think that if you're the Titans, you want to get the run game going, and I think that the Bucks' defense is going to be kind of worn down and also just maybe sort of deflated after that loss last week. So I think if I'm the Titans, I come in there and I try to fucking pound Derrick Henry 10 or 12 times early, and then the defense will slowly fade after that. What, Greg? You're smirking.
I'm going to call you out on something because you said the Bucks are a different team at home and they're better at home. They're 1-3 at home.
No. I said the defense is better.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, they're better on the road because they beat the Vikings. They also played the Bills pretty tough. Did they beat somebody?
That was the thing too.
Well, the Saints.
Saints, yeah. I mean, that was the thing too. You look at it, the Bucks started 3-1 and they've lost 4 in a row. I think it keeps going down. The
only thing to remember, even though the record is bad at home, but holding the Lions to 20 points, I thought was pretty impressive. You didn't think that was impressive?
6 wasn't.
What?
Scoring 6 wasn't.
I said their defense is better at home, jackass. So I'm just saying the defense playing better at home makes me cautious on investing in Will Levis. Special K, Titans 0-4 on the road. Yep. Oh, here we go. Can I say 100% fading good news and Levis getting the starting job this week? A lot of people have wanted Tannehill out for quite some time. He included. Levis is going to get blitzed on every pass, and Levis is awful against the blitz. Fair enough. Small sample size with the blitz, but yes, that's not inaccurate. All right, so we've gone over the best bets. We've talked about that game. I want to bring up a few more. We do have a little bit of time. We are going to be on the Packers and Steelers. And by the way, Steak, if you got to jump off early at any time, feel free. Cool. Steelers, Packers over. This is interesting that if this is accurate, the opener was 37 and now it's up to 38.5. I was listening to Chernoff podcast this morning from RAS. He did mention Rasul Douglas. Greg, why do you have that stupid look on your face?
Sorry, just keep that. Don't let me distract you.
I know. I just got to know sometimes what you're reading or something. Rasul Douglas is going to be out for the Packers. To me, it doesn't even matter about injuries. I thought they had dudes going into the season. Joe Barry is a terrible coordinator. This defense can't stop anybody, in my opinion. Granted, they just stopped the Rams, but that was fucking Brett Ripien. I think we get fireworks in this game. I think the Packers find a little bit of success. Granted, it's probably not going to be until it's too late in the second half. That's why I'm very apprehensive on betting them, even though I thought the line was a little bit short. But I think the Steelers and Kenny Pickett, I think it's a Kenny Pickett potential masterclass here. I loved how the Steelers found success running the ball last week. Najee Harris, what do you have, over 5 yards per carry? Jalen Warren had a decent couple of runs against the Titans. And granted, the Titans aren't a great defense, but the run defense better than the pass defense. We got a pissed off George Pickens. We got Deontay Johnson finally finding the end zone. I think we get a Pickett masterclass. I think we get points in this game. I do think the Steelers actually end up winning. Steak, I want to start with you. What do you think about this game?
So I love the
He's on the
over.
Bills now. Yeah, sorry. He's gone, not hurt. Apologize.
I love the over. Obviously, it's at 38.5. Like you mentioned, I had texted you and Greg, and I said only one of both teams' last 9 games have went over that total. So I do think it's a very high total, which is indicative of what we're going to get. I'm cool with the read on Steelers scoring a lot of points. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure what team I think is going to do most of the scoring, but I honestly like both teams to go over their point total.
Yeah.
And I think we get a lot of points. And
okay.
I want to mention, like, I don't know why it's not talked about more, but I think Deontay Johnson has kind of clearly been set as wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh since he got back. And so I'm just as comfortable betting Deontay Johnson masterclass as I am George Pickens. I don't know if we're going to get that George Pickens masterclass. I hope we do, but
I'm going to stay off Pickens. I'm going to Pickett. I think both guys might eat. Greg, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't hate that either way. It is tricky with Deontay Johnson because it's just the way Matt Canada runs the offense. Of like a guy with like Pickens isn't going to get nearly as many deep balls as he should or as he wants, but a little safety valve like Deontay Johnson is just going to ticky-tack, eat you alive. So I forget who's the Packers. The Packers supposedly have a really good corner. And so that's kind of like
Jair Alexander.
Yeah. So that's the big unknown is like who he's on. Right. So that kind of is why I'm not jumping in on the Pickens train, but I do think DJ, you're probably right. It probably is. Kenny Pickett has a pretty good game. I like the over. Probably not going to play the Steelers. I think 3.5 is the right line. I do think it's actually a little bit high because making the Steelers over a field goal is kind of crazy to me. But I do think it's Steelers money line over. If I had to play,
so we're on the over. I think that Aaron Jones being back too for the Packers is going to help out their offense as well, and I think that maybe it'll help out Jordan Love finding a little bit of success.
I don't know, man. I get the vibe with Aaron Jones. His hammy's just going to be an all year thing until they have to just shut him down. Because even like he came back and it's like, all right, hammy's not all good. He's back to normal. And then sure as shit next week, like didn't practice Wednesday, didn't practice Thursdays.
Well, they had 105 yards and a touchdown, so at least he performed if he's going to play.
Yeah, but I mean the Rams defense is terrible.
That's true. Steak, anything else on this game?
Yeah, I like Christian Watson. That would be my guy from the Packers. I'd pick to have a big game over Aaron Jones for sure, over anybody else. I like Christian Watson. And then not trying to ride on George Pickens too much, but it is kind of funny because the talks about him are that he can't create separation. He makes amazing catches, but he can't create separation. And all Deontay Johnson does is create separation. He's fucking always open. Not trying to gas him up too much, but I feel like he's not quite getting the love yet. I mean, gets targets and catches all game. So I'm definitely going to attack him in some form of a prop in this game.
All right.
He drops not a lot.
Yeah, he has a lot of drops.
He has a drops issue.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Houston Texans and Cincinnati Bengals game. Bengals 6.5, 46.5 total. We are on the Houston Texans team total under. I already punched it in for 2 units because I found it at 20.5. I think it's 19.5 some places as well. That's a scary number. But we listen, we're big CJ Stroud guys. I said this on Trent's stream yesterday and somebody commented, who isn't a CJ Stroud fan? Listen, fuckface, did you bet him to win the Heisman? Did you bet Ohio State to win the championship when he was there? Probably not. So suck my ass. I didn't have the balls to stick with him this year in the NFL. Props to you guys who did. Okay. So far you're on offensive rookie of the year. I believe he's minus 500 and you're on the Texans win total over. Both are looking pretty good. The Texans are 4-4. They are 1-3 on the road. Now we got the Bengals team who are back to being the Bengals that left a scar on me, just as the Baltimore Orioles did. I cannot get in the way of Joe Burrow and the Bengals when they're playing like this. However, I'm not going to play the Bengals on the side. We talked about it. We think CJ Stroud is in for a bit of a humbling experience. I do think going on the road in a place like Cincinnati, I'm a little bit nervous about their defense, although defense did play well against Josh Allen and the Bills. That could be more about issues with Ken Dorsey and their whole offense. The Texans don't seem to have that issue. They air the ball out really well. They don't have much of a running game, but I think that I think the Bengals control this game. I think the spread is probably the right number. Jamar Chase is a little banged up, I think. T. Higgins may or may not be back. Is Burrow going to have weapons? I don't know. The guy's a magician. He'll be fine. I think the defense steps up. I think Houston struggles, and we're on the under team total. I took it for 2 units. Steak, you fully approve this?
Fully approve it. I'm on it with you 100%. I love CJ Stroud, and I think he's looked amazing, and I think he's going to have a great career. But I think it's safe to say that he's not quite ready for this moment in Cincinnati with the Bengals finally getting it going, looking the way everybody expected him to look at the beginning of the year. And I could just see him having a long day. It was like one of the first things I thought about, honestly, when I looked at spreads Tuesday morning. I was like, man, I could just see CJ Stroud having the opposite kind of game that he had against Tampa, against Cincinnati. And I still feel that way.
Yep. Stocks at all-time high. Greg, you cool with it?
Yeah, it's crazy how things change so quickly in the NFL. And that's something I want to keep an eye on a little bit more. But literally, you had 2 weeks ago, the Texans looked like shit and lost to the worst team in the NFL. Last week, CJ Stroud goes crazy. The Bucs had some injuries in the secondary, but it's a whole different song. It's like you almost forgot about that really stinker of a performance.
Yeah, you're right.
Fucking 10 days old. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think we could absolutely get that in store again. Another thing, too, is where the Bengals are weak is safety. And supposedly some of the wide receivers for the Texans are a little banged up, too. Nico Collins, and I forget the other guy's name. Not Tank Dell.
No. Woods?
Not Tank.
Robert Woods, maybe?
Bobby Woods. Yep. Bobby Woods, yep.
Oh, Sam Hubbard's out, too. That's a big blow. Sam Hubbard's a dog. Yeah, well, I'm gonna just go, again, not with the Bengals cover the big number. But on that note, I will say there's a couple 6.5-point lines out there. One of them that I'm not too confident in is the Ravens this weekend. I don't think I like the Ravens to cover this big number. I like the Browns in a bit of a revenge spot. Watson came back last week. They shut out the Cardinals. That was a nice little get-right game for the defense. I think that as much as I love the Ravens, and again, I mentioned this, but I was staring at them as my Super Bowl pick, 12-1, 14-1. They're 850 now. I'm probably just going to sit and wait and hope they lose this game and maybe get them at a better number because I do want a little bit of their stock. I think the Browns might be my upset of the week. How do you guys feel about that?
Go ahead, Greg.
I am not a believer in this Cleveland team. Not even a little bit. They looked great last week, but it was fucking Clayton Tune. It was Clayton Tune. He couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't run the ball. When he
fucking bet on him, asshole.
I'm very upset about it. It was the first time we saw him, and we saw that he was very bad. They even got like fucking fluky lucky too. Like their first touchdown it hit off the defensive lineman's forehead and then landed right in Amari Cooper's hands. Like this offense is not clicking yet. Yeah. And I think this is a pretty big line in Baltimore for a divisional game when they're right there in the AFC North. I mean, everybody is, but I don't think this is as big of a drubbing as it was last time, obviously. I could see the Browns covering, but I think anybody that wants to get cheeky cute with a Ravens money line parlay and stuff, go nuts because I don't see them losing this game.
Ravens Seahawks, maybe.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular one.
I don't think any concerns about the Ravens this week.
Me?
Yeah,
I like the Browns.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's putting any stock in what the Browns did last week because Clayton Tune looked like the worst quarterback ever. He looks so bad that now they're forced to play Kyler Murray because you can't put that product out on the field even when you're tanking because it's ridiculous. That's how bad Clayton Tune was.
Right.
It's just one of those things like maybe the spread seems a little big in a divisional matchup. I get Greg's point for sure, but then the Ravens have been literally beating the dog shit out of people, pounded the Seahawks, pounded the Lions. I know that they pound NFC teams all the time. I'm maybe being a square, but I think I'm pretty comfortable taking the Browns and the points. I'm not going to get cute on the money line this week. No. I see your point for sure. I hope you hit it, but I'm pretty comfortable with Browns and the points.
I'll probably just sprinkle on the money line, but yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that the Browns are, some like team that's going to figure it out and go on a sick run or anything like that. I kind of just think that they get scrappy in this game, especially after Lamar carved the Browns defense up in Cleveland for 28 points. I don't see it happening again. This Browns team is very fraudulent on the road. Should have lost in Indy, lost in Pittsburgh, lost in Seattle when Geno tried to hand them the game on a silver platter. Yeah, it's very true. They are on the road. They are 1-2, 1-2 ATS, and then the Ravens at home, 3-1, 3-1 ATS. So gonna buckle up for that one. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. I wanted to bring up one more game, and then if there's any others that you want to touch on, feel free. But the Chargers, Chargers +3 at home against the Lions. Lions are off a bye. Special K's in here. I'm curious to hear what he has to say about this. We're all big Lions supporters in here. We're believers. We're not trying to say that they're fugazis by any means. And Greg has been on the anti-Brandon Staley train, I think, from day one. So I will give you credit for that. I want to be on the Chargers +3 here, but I don't know how I'm going to attack this, but I think we get a Justin Herbert masterclass. Short week for the Browns. I'm sorry, for the Chargers. Traveling from New York, they played prime time. Nobody really wants them in a spot like that, I would think. And on top of that, you've got a rested Detroit team that's been great. Goff coming back to California. I think he plays well. I think the offense does well. I think David Montgomery should be back. I really like the over. It's 49 down to 48.5, I think, but I like points in this game. I like a little bit more coming from the Chargers. The Lions have a really good run defense. Their pass defense is kind of middle of the pack. I think that the Chargers can find some success, even if they're down some guys. I don't know who's healthy for them on offense and who's not. But I don't really see this as a game where the Chargers try to run the ball at all. I think Herbert's going to throw probably 45 times, and I think he's going to find some success. So I like Herbert. I like the Chargers. Steak, do you agree?
So I am hesitant now. I am really hesitant to put money on the Chargers, even against the Jets. I mean, Herbert didn't look great. They didn't need much to win that game.
Right.
Herbert hasn't looked that good. And I still find myself like not really wanting to fade the Lions. I think I don't care if this is square, honestly. I think my favorite bet in this game would be the over. I really do.
Yeah.
I think I see points, and I'm just going to not try to get cute with being a sharp here. And I see points in this game. I see points from both sides. I really don't see either defense stopping either offense that much. And I very, very confidently think I might put a unit on the over.
I think this is a 31-27 game. I don't know who has 31, but I think it's the Chargers. Greg?
I mean, if I have a question for you guys, if Quentin Johnson doesn't show up in this game, is it fair to officially label him as a bust?
It's not fair to officially label him as a bust, but it's fair to say, it's fair to really question why the Chargers took him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can already question it, but right now, like, he's the number 2 guy. He's gotten 2 injuries. It's now or never. Like, you got a great quarterback. They don't have a great secondary. The team needs you. I have zero desire to get after his props because I do tend to think he's just not that guy. But they really fucking need him this week.
One thing is, I want to talk about that. It's cool. So he's right. Obviously, he's right. Everyone's going to take the over on this game, but I think it's worth mentioning. There's been a pretty heavy under narrative on all these gambling sites about how 63% of all NFL games have went under. And if you bet $100 on every NFL under this year, you'd be up $2,300. Every game goes under. And that's what's crazy. Like, maybe we are idiots for betting overs in the NFL right now because every game goes under. That's just the truth. Yeah. Every primetime game goes under. I mean, it's crazy how much money you could make just blindly betting unders in the NFL. So I acknowledge what Matt's saying. I do think it's going to be a real popular over. Who doesn't think that Lions and Chargers are going to score points? But with that being said, this might be the game of the week I pull up to the squares table because, man, I'm really picturing points in that game. I'd be disappointed if we don't get some.
I hope you get service. All right. But this is the obvious one over for me. Can each of you give an underdog money line play for the weekend, either CFB or NFL? Yes. Oh, one more nugget. Line team total 25.5. Anyone want to guess how many times the Chargers have given up 26 or more? Wow. Oh, not real quick. Somebody said Herbert is hurt. Is Herbert hurt?
It's his finger.
Is it on his throwing hand? Yeah, that's okay. We're not injury experts here. Well, that's not good. I don't want to bet on a masterclass for a guy that doesn't.
This has been going on for like a month.
Non-throwing hand. Oh, that doesn't really concern me too much.
Non-throwing hand. That's what I thought.
Favorite underdog on the money line this weekend, either CFB or NFL. I would tell you that my favorite underdog in the NFL is probably going to be the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take them with the points, and I'm going to take them with the money line. Outside of that, I really don't see anybody else pulling up any surprises. Certainly not the Giants or the Commanders. So I feel like I took the best one.
No, I got one. And actually, Steak, I'd like to hear what you said, but I actually think the Josh Dobbs train keeps going.
Jake hates it. Hammer it.
I'm not saying shit about the Vikings, dude. I at least will say this. I'm excited to watch it, but I'm not going to handicap.
Is Jefferson back?
No, not till.
No. Okay.
No, I don't even think. I think potentially week 11, but they're saying another report came out saying they want him to be fully healthy.
Yeah,
not gonna get cute.
Like he's off the 4-day IR thing or whatever it was, but he's still not 100.
I think that's next week.
Got it. Okay.
All right, I like that.
Yeah,
Steak, do you have any others? I know
one.
there's not many good ones to choose from.
Underdogs. No, I guess, sorry, I got to say it again, but I believe Penn State has a chance to win. He did say college football and NFL.
Oh, yeah.
I believe Penn State has a chance to win this game on Saturday.
I'd be so happy for my dad if Penn State got this one. I'd be so happy for him.
I'll be happy for him too.
I'm looking at trying to see if there's any good upsets that I like.
I like the Titans too, but that's fucking +1. That's not an underdog.
Yeah, I know. I was looking in college football. I do not think Ole Miss is going to beat Georgia. I keep hearing people say that.
Me either. See, that's the why I like Kentucky, dude, because that's what I hear too. Everyone's like, "Oh, Ole Miss has a chance against Georgia," but no one's saying Kentucky has a chance against Alabama, and I find that interesting.
Okay, I would say Kentucky. Kentucky would be my upset.
You guys are going to disagree with me so big on this, and I'm wrong, and I'm probably not going to bet this, but
can I guess?
Might put a little.
Yeah, let's guess.
Is it Miami?
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wait,
is the spread more than 10?
Yes.
Florida.
Pac-12.
Don't say USC.
It is.
USC beating Oregon is your upset?
What's the spread on that one?
14.5.
14.5. It's a big spread. I just think USC is dead as dead can be. You just saw Caleb Williams crying to his mom. Like, I could see, I don't know. I'm just not sold on Oregon yet. And maybe I haven't watched him enough to really be sold. But
that's crazy.
Dude, honestly, Oregon's going to win by 40 because that's very public Greg thought process.
Yeah, I'm adding Morgan to my card now.
Yeah.
I don't really have any other big ones. UConn beating JMU. Could you imagine JMU appealing the bowl ban thing that they're trying to get bowl eligible? They're ranked 24th. Wouldn't it be hilarious if they lost outright? That's all I got. That's all I got. All right, before we shut it down, it's 12:40. Steak, we still got a decent amount of people in here, and I know everybody fucking loves basketball in this app. There is a 9-game slate tonight. Have you looked at it? And Greg's also a little NBA guy too.
I'm getting more into it. I actually really am starting to like the NBA.
We're slow. We ease into these sports. I mean, well, Steak likes to fucking come right out of the gate. He comes in hot and heavy like a bull. But we'll at least start to find more of a rhythm as the season gets going. So is there anything on the hardwood? I think it's a kids say. Back in my day, it was the association. Anything on the hardwood tonight that is jumping out to you guys? Please don't say the Wizards.
I mean, damn, I fucking nailed the Wizards last time.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you did.
And now they're 2.5-point favorites, dude. Maybe it's the Wizards.
No, don't fucking say that. It can't be the Wizards.
Dude, I hate talking about the NBA until I see the injury reports. That's the only problem. So I don't want to say anything more than leans, but I just want to throw one. College basketball, I lean Georgia after that horrible showing against Oregon. I kind of like them against Wake Forest today. For the NBA, the Grizzlies are horrible. I have no idea why they're 5.5-point favorites.
Yeah, but they keep doing this to me. They keep doing it to me. Don't fucking say Grizzlies. They keep doing it to me.
Yeah, and so one other lean that saw someone say Duke, Arizona. I would lean Arizona. I'm really high on Arizona this year, and I think they're going to keep it really close. I wouldn't be shocked if they won outright. I know DGen is a big Duke fan.
Yeah. Did they really lose their first game?
No.
Oh my God, dude! I really believed you. I almost tweeted it.
They definitely did not. I think they played Dartmouth.
Fucking asshole.
No, they played Dartmouth. Yeah.
Shut up. No, Furl, I'm going to talk NHL after this, but Steak and Greg aren't NHL guys. So while I have them up here, we're just going to go.
I like to listen at least.
Yeah,
I try and keep maybe one NHL play every day.
I respect your guys' time and your day, so I want to talk NBA. All right, so did you say you are not playing the Grizzlies?
I'm not playing anything yet. I'm not going to even put out an NBA pick till 4 p.m., man. The injury reports are ridiculous. I just can't do it. I'm happy waiting till 4, but I'll tell you one that I firmly have my eyes on will be the Kings tonight. So I'm going to wait to see if De'Aaron Fox
dude,
back. I don't
feeding
think he
the
is.
Thunder? No,
Yeah.
thanks.
I know everything's gross. Everything's gross.
God. Ugh.
Jake, how do you feel about the Pistons tonight?
What's that spread?
9.5.
Oof. That's tough, man. I feel like they're trendy. I feel like the Pistons are kind of a trendy underdog team this year. I don't really have a great read on that one.
Yeah,
I will say,
I kind of
Greg,
like 76ers just coming off of the big win against Boston.
and you know what? I think that the Pistons might be a team where they cover these big spreads, but they don't cover the ones where they look like, ooh, +4 against fucking the Thunder, wherever it was, where I played the under and they got their ass kicked. But they did cover 12 against the Bucks. Granted, Giannis got ejected. And I agree, Greg, Sixers off a big win. I could see Detroit being a little scrappy here. But as Steak said, he says not till 4 p.m. I don't think you can make an NBA bet until 6:45.
Yeah, you're probably right. One other thing, Kev mentioned Rockets -3.5 against the Pelicans. Very weird line. But do we know anything about Zion Williamson coming back yet? I assume he's not back yet. And then they'll be without CJ and Zion, and that obviously scares me a little bit.
De'Aaron Fox is out, somebody is saying. Beeman said, Dejan, you're going to take the Clippers. Nobody has taken them. They haven't scored over 100 with Harden. I'll tell you what, as a Clippers win total over ticket holder, I really just wish that they didn't get Harden.
Me too.
I hate that fucking move so much. You know, the Mavs are a team that I kind of respect. I don't really want to find myself fading them too much. 6-2. I think I didn't like the Kyrie Irving last season. I think maybe with an offseason to gel, they're going to be better and figure it out and kind of be a little bit of a problem. But yeah, he's not lying. 2 down to 1. It doesn't look like anybody's on the Clippers. Maybe this is the time to take them. So
one other thing, and I'm going to bounce if that's cool.
Yeah.
The Mavs, I just got to see them live. And, you know, it's worth mentioning when you get to see them live. Good chemistry on that team. I know it sounds silly, but you can quickly tell when teams do and don't like playing together. And I mean, bro, when the bench players were in for the Mavs, the starters were standing up, talking at them the entire game. These guys, even Kyrie, even Luka, talking to the bench players the whole game. I just think the Mavs are going to be good this year. I think they're.
I might be a Mavs guy as much as I hate Kyrie, but that goddamn AI horse is one of the best follows on.
Yeah,
best thing ever.
Did you find that, Steak?
I don't know. I found it because Greg liked it. He was beating up Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, he likes the post. Yeah, that's the guy says he's on the Orlando bandwagon with us, and meanwhile he's liking AI graphics.
There's a funny graphic.
There's a very good graphic. I like that guy's stuff too. All right, good nugget there, Steak. I feel like I would take the Clippers, but it's also, as you said, a team I don't want to fade. Also, on that note, I might take them to win the West or something. Think it's a bad idea?
I really don't hate it, man.
Okay.
All
right.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Wait. One more call.
No, Steak can leave.
One more. Okay.
I'm not shutting it down.
You go ahead, Greg. You go first, and then I'm out.
Duke UNC. Do you think there's any chance for that to be a big dog this weekend?
College
UNC
basketball or football?
Football.
Who cares, man?
Duke UNC.
This guy says Duke UNC and doesn't specify what sport.
Well, if you would know if it was college basketball.
I have no interest betting on Duke if that backup quarterback is playing at all. He's horrible, and I've just decided if he's in, I'm not even going to look at the game.
That's fair. That might be the case.
Kev, I believe Notre Dame has a bye because they had to travel outside of their home state and city within the first 5 weeks of the season, something that Michigan wasn't familiar with. All right. Steak, thanks for your time, man. Thanks for hanging out. Love you, Steak. We're going to shut it down here soon, but we're going to go through the hockey board. Greg, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about in NBA?
No. I got a couple that I'm going to look at, but like Jake said, you got to wait until it's a little bit closer.
Nuggets winning the West again. Save your money. Yeah, you're probably not right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sam Hartman's dad, Dabo, let them have the week off. Fucking asshole. All right, NHL. Been a really good start to the NHL season. And honestly, I know that we're bound for fucking regression. It's going to come any minute, but I'm just going to keep riding it. If I like the board, I'm going to spray the ice. If I get humbled, so be it. I'm not getting cocky by any means, but I feel like I'm having a pretty good strategy here of taking a blend in the teams. If you feel like the matchup is as we did with the Coyotes and Blues, they met the first time, they soared over, as we discussed. Second meeting within a week or so. No, maybe it was like 2 weeks. They play a little bit tighter. I think that was a 2-1 final or something. And then the opposite happens occasionally, and maybe taking some totals that you don't foresee happening, like the Jets game over. That was a 6.5 down to 6. That one ended up soaring. So Going to keep going with these things. Also, maybe just trying to find specific fades, teams that we don't really trust, and just bet against them no matter the line. On that note, Sabres in the Wild. Sabres are -110 up to -120. I'm seeing total 6.5. In my opinion, this is a very, very obvious over. But if I had to pick a square over right off the bat, I know this is just the first game of the board. I'd probably say that's going to happen. Thought on Liberty and look ahead spot. I think he's just joking. I would lean over in this game. I don't really respect the Wild very mumuch. I don't know what type of team they are. They're 5-6-2 on the year. They're a pretty good over team as well, 7-2-1 to the over. The Sabres, surprisingly, 4-5-1 to the over. You know, they're a very popular, trendy team. Oh, here we go. Wild back-to-back off a loss. Yes, the Wild just lost to the New York Wagon Rangers. Greg, you got to get to a Rangers game this year. You're having a kid. You ain't going nowhere.
Not happening. Yeah.
Told it's Tage Day from Snide. Well, someone always says it's Tage Day. Tage is Tage Thompson. Greg, he's a very popular guy on the Sabres. Yeah. This would be an obvious over. I think if anything, maybe the line's a little bit short. Granted, these teams have the same records on paper. Who is going to be in net for the Wild? I'm assuming it's not going to be the guy who played yesterday, which was Fleury. So it's probably going to be Gustafsson. Gustafsson's last game. Let's see. I mean, he's just not that fucking good of a goalie. Not that good of a goalie in his recent performances. He's allowed 5 to the Devils, 6 to the Flyers, 4 to the Oilers, 5 to the Jackets. I mean, I can't bet on the Wild here. It's probably the don't overthink it Sabres and the don't overthink it over.
Over? Man, I do not like NHL totals. I am so off base on them.
You know, it's really hard to play unders with the empty net situation.
Yeah.
But so I would say, if anything, you always want to err to the over or like a team total over. What I'd like doing too is like yesterday we just hit a first period over. That was fun. Or a team to score first. I think we're 4-1 on those. So
love score first.
I like score first. Yeah, probably soaring, but lean Wild. Okay, you guys lean Wild. Yeah, that's the nasty play. My over don't overthink it. Square brain says over in Sabres. So probably those would go to 1-1. Hurricanes Panthers. Now, if I'm going to give you an obvious under, it would be the Hurricanes and the Panthers. Does anybody agree or disagree with that statement? And also at the same time, are the Hurricanes figuring it out a little bit? This team started really, really bad. They won their first 2 games. After that, they went 1, 2, 3, 4. They lost 4 out of 5 on a West Coast road trip. They get back home. They get right against the Kraken. They win 3 in a row. I went to watch them lose against the Rangers. And then they win the next 2. So they haven't played since the 7th. So they've been off the 8th and the 9th. That's 2 days off. And let's see what the Panthers have been doing. The Panthers playing a little bit better as well. They've won 2 in a row. Granted, they've been both overtime games against the Capitals and against the Blue Jackets. Not very good opponents. Before that, they lost to the Blackhawks. So the Canes have been playing better teams and in tougher environments. At Philly, at the Rangers, at the Islanders. Beating Sorokin is no fucking easy task. And still taking on the Sabres when they got back home. I'm going to lean Hurricanes here as I think is the better team to win the game. Road favorite off a home win, 17-12. Florida, home dog off a road win, 4-7. Line moved to Carolina. W. Burt. Burt is a good system guy and a trend guy. I love it. As a Panthers fan, it's Kane. Kane, sadly, Bob is in net. Okay, if you see a line over 4.5 live, play it. If you see to see 10 goals. Yep. Lean under. Yeah.
You know something you haven't brought up, and again, I'm not a huge hockey guy, but I just fact checked myself. The Panthers swept them in the playoffs last year.
I totally forgot about that. And I remember I watched those games closely. I think it was in Vegas when I watched.
Actually, we cashed out of the Hurricanes right before that. That's right.
No, well before that. We cashed out before
that injury. But I'm saying before they got eliminated.
Yes. Yes.
You just sold me on the Hurricanes. I'm going to take them here. This is going to be my hockey play.
And you know what's interesting? If any hockey guys are still in the chat, I know Behind the Line started and most people probably dipped, but Furl and anybody else, if you're in here, I watched a lot of that series, and the Hurricanes really outplayed the Panthers in just about every game. It was crazy how the Panthers were staying alive and scoring goals in that game, in that series. Canes don't want to get into a shootout. No, you're right. Absolutely not. They don't have the offense for it. They really don't. I mean, I watched them up close and personal against the Rangers. Now, granted, the Rangers have been playing really good defense, but their offense is nothing special. It's nothing to be scared about. The defense is solid, though. Love the Canes. Toffoli, my man. Pat, baby. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be on the Hurricanes there. I like that. No play in the Wild game, I think, officially. The Capitals and Devils. I don't like the Capitals. I don't respect the Capitals. I was on the Capitals, though, if you guys remember this, as much as I said they were an auto fade, the last time they played the Devils. It was in New Jersey. It was the only game on that night. I said, wouldn't it be funny if the dog shit Capitals beat the Devils when nobody gives a fuck and there's one game on? I don't know if I agree this time. Now, with that said, it looks like the line's moving toward. Oh, no. 185 up to 190 are the Devils. So the Capitals have, let's see, they just lost to the Panthers. They've been off one night. What are the Devils doing over here? Let's take a gander. The Devils just got back from a long road trip, but they've been off 2 nights. Long road trip. They went 2-2, lost to the Avs, and lost to the Blues. So you got a bit of a revenge spot. First game back for the Devils. BJ, are we going over NBA? We already did. Caps beat them 6-4 like 2 weeks ago. That time, Devils were on back-to-back for Montreal. Lean Devils and under. W. Chellor dropping Nuggets. Yep, Pat is a W Nugget guy in the NHL. All right, no play in that one for me. Flames and the Leafs. The battle of piss factories here.
I hate the Leafs. I hate them.
And you know who I hate almost just as much? I hate the fucking Leafs. What do we like in the NBA? Actually, I don't know. What do we come away with like in the NBA? Kind of like the Clippers. Kind of like the the Pistons.
Kind of like the Pistons. Steak said he might go back to the Wizards.
I thought that was such a good fit too because they need toughness, but there's probably a reason the Rangers got rid of them. Piss finding their game. Yeah, they might be. The Flames, what do they run? 2 in a row now? Yep, they've won 2 in a row. 6-3 against the Kraken, 4-2 against the Predators. You're absolutely right. Have these teams played yet this season? Doesn't look like it. Is this a don't overthink it over? Thunder and Mavericks. I'm not going to do the Thunder. I think Steak wanted to fade them off a 2-0 comeback win. Yep. Steak likes Kings. Calgary, road dog off a home win. 4-17. Toronto, home fave off a home loss 2019. Oh, wow. Good note. So those trends support the Leafs. Oh, dude, he's so bad. Blake Wheeler's also really bad, too. He is old and slow. I don't have a lean in that game. I don't have a read in that game. Flyers, Ducks.
I want to hear what you think on this one.
You know, the Ducks have been just a little too good lately. Been a little too good. They won 6 in a row, and then they got shut out and lost to the Penguins at home. They've had 2 nights off to think about that loss in that game. Meanwhile, the Flyers went out to San Jose. They lost. I think that was the second win of the season for the Sharks. But they've had 2 nights to think about that loss to the Sharks. A very, very, very disappointing loss, an embarrassing loss to the Sharks. I would have to go to the fucking Flyers here. I'd have to. Ducks beat them big last Sunday, I believe. Yes, October 28th, Ducks win in Philadelphia 7-4. Ooh. Flyers are in piss coming from Philly fan. I think we lose. Oh, my God. If Carter Hart's back, I'm on the Phillies.
Flyers, but I get
Flyers. And I'm on the Flyers to
back?
score first. Have a great weekend. All right, bye, Hill Daddy. Thanks for hanging out. It's the Flyers, and that was the Sharks' first win. Oh, first win. Sorry, I think I said second win. My bad. Carter Hart will be traded soon. Yeah, as he should be, honestly. He's looked a little bit better. If Carter Hart is back, I am on the Flyers.
Philly Inquirer says Carter Hart, Morgan Frost to return for the Flyers against Red Hot Ducks.
I'm in. Recap for the NHL. I'm not touching the Knights Sharks game. I like the Hurricanes, and I like the Flyers. That's it. 2 plays for me.
I'm going to tell you, I like both those. I really like the Hurricanes.
Okay. Well, good luck, Greg. Thanks for hanging out.
The Flyers. I don't know why. I don't know why I do this to myself in hockey.
Don't touch them.
I have to, though.
Oh, you have to, you said. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, I have to.
All right, dude.
I got to run, though.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for chilling. Have a great weekend. Good luck on your bets. I will see you guys on Monday. Good luck. Remember, newsletter plays out, degenerateweekly.com. If you need to subscribe, you get the email every Friday morning. It's free. All right. Peace. Have a great day. Well, why are Flyers favored? Because they're going to